2 races away from crowning a champion in this Sim500 Xfinity Series presented by the Ford Entertainment Group. Tonight, we come to you live, first of 2 races in 2 days for Sim500 in the state of Florida. Unlike real life, there's no rain in the forecast. Ha 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 ha. Just saying. We're getting ready to go racing tonight. It's round number 24, the penultimate round of this FEG Xfinity Series tonight from the Virtual Homestead-Miami Speedway. And we are ready for 100 laps of racing tonight, as it is Homestead, 79 degrees, default weather. Lots of looseness is what I'm hearing on track. I think that's going to make for some pretty fun racing when it's all said and done. Usually some of the better races that you see on iRacing, how weird this sounds and backwards, is you would think the looser the setup, the more people would spin out and wreck. However, some reason people learn when they're loose to just back off a little bit. They could learn to do that when they're tight or have a lot of grip and give each other room. It would kind of balance itself out, but that's never the way it is. 100 laps, 50, the halfway point tonight, as we'll give away bonus points for that situation and more. I am the captain, Chris Scalaz. We welcome you in to the Ford Entertainment Group Sim500 Xfinity Series. This is round number 24. As I mentioned, 2 rounds left. And let's get to what we are talking about this evening, and that is this right here, the points battle that could become a one-car race, basically, when it's over with at the end of tonight at Homestead. If Pedro can get out there and just dominate and win again, there is a chance that he could walk away out of here with the championship this evening, which is kind of dumbfounding when you think about it. Only a 3-race series, and he could clinch this thing in 2, which could happen. He's got a 15-point lead over Chad Coleman. Chuck Sweeting is right there in 3rd. And then it's literally 4 points separating 4th through 6th from the championship. So we got a tight battle on our hands there. We also still have this battle for the wheel. The Fanatec CSL Direct Drive wheel. We've been talking about it all summer long. I've eliminated up to 140 laps, which is, actually, I'm sorry, that would be 240 laps, what we have left in the season. As you see, Josh Adams still has that 2-lap lead over Chad Coleman. Charles Woods is right there still with a chance, and then it kind of separates out a little bit to Chuck Sweeting, Pedro Mojica, amongst others. Pretty much below Charles, there's a praying chance. But as they say, they're saying there's still a chance. Yes, there is, when it is all said and done. So that is where we stand right now in Homestead, as we get ready to go racing around this 1.5-mile track that originally was built in 1995 after Hurricane Andrew. I should say was actually 30 years ago this past Tuesday, I believe it was, Tuesday or Wednesday, was the 30th anniversary of Hurricane Andrew coming through this area right here. At one point, this was a mill, and it was obviously wiped out amongst everything in Homestead. I remember being a 6-year-old kid that day and going to bed not knowing where Andrew was actually going, and lived about 3 hours up the coast and basically did not know what was going to happen. And that thing hit Homestead, demolished it, and this track was built. It was originally a mini Indianapolis, a 1.5-mile rectangle, and then it was modified to a flat 1.5-mile oval, which then in 2003 they repaved it and put banking in it from 18 up to 20 degrees, one of the first ever progressive banking 1.5-mile tracks they've had. And this is the pavement from that 2003 remake that happened back then. So here we are, and that leads us to where we stand here tonight at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. So it looks like qualifying is pretty much done for the most part. The people that I'm looking maybe to have a word with have run their laps, so let's talk to a couple drivers. And we talked to 2 last week. Of course, before the race at Las Vegas. I about lost it where I was there for a second. Let's talk to a couple more drivers here as we get ready to get the green flag momentarily. Let's talk to Bob Gillenwater. And there is Bobby G. As Bob joins us here on the Captain Esports Network.
I think outside line is going to be the line to start in, though.
It might be, Bob. You never know. I cut you off, sorry.
It's all right.
I got them all confused. Bob, I wanted to talk to you for a quick minute here before you get going here in this race. Obviously, You're in that little battle, it looks like, from about third down to sixth in the playoff battle with 2 races to go. Right now, obviously, where do you stand where it comes to the championship? Obviously, Pedro hasn't clinched it yet, and I know a lot of people mentally have like, all right, Pedro's got this thing won. But what can you do to kind of just battle amongst yourself to get up there and get the best run possible?
Well, I think tonight we can have a good run here tonight, and not taking anything away from Pedro, but we're all here to win. And uh, as far as a chance, I think this track tonight's probably going to be the best chance I've got of the season to maybe steal one. Um,
Hey guys, I want to jump
that
in
can
here
get
again.
me there. Maybe Phoenix is going to be really, really tough for me. I've struggled at that track, so I just want to do the best I can here to have maybe some type of a cushion going into next week.
There you go. And obviously tonight you're talking about a lot driving on this right rear. How can you? Is there any way with this track having no grip at all to save any kind of tire on it?
Yeah, it's going. A lot of it's going to depend on, I think, cloud cover and what the temperature does. I mean, it's pretty hot right now. It cooled off a little bit there for qualifying, but we're almost, I think, track's almost at 140 degrees right now. That's the hottest I've seen it. So, I think it's sim time 3:30, 3:40 in the afternoon. So I don't think we're going to see much relief as this next hour or so clicks off.
All right, my man. Well, great job so far in this season. I hope to get to talk to you in the top 3 tonight.
Hey, appreciate it a lot. Appreciate all the viewers, man.
Absolutely, you too, buddy. Bob Gillenwater there. He's in that top 6 battle right now as we go to grid here. The starting lineup, of course, for this Homestead-Miami race. Tommy Ryan winning the pole at a 34.065 second lap. As I think about that is... I don't want to use the word slow because 34 seconds is faster on Homestead, but that just shows you how much grip there is in this car. There's none. Usually a pole lap, I would think, around here is about 32 to 33 seconds. 34-second lap around this track, so there's no grip. Chuck Sweeting will start second. Bob Gillenwater, Jimmy Coleman in row 2. Pedro Mojica looking to maybe clinch that championship tonight. He'll start next to Doy Woods, David Comstock, and Eric Arnold there in row 4. Joey Jatina, Chad Coleman. They will take row number 5. Row 6, Jeff Ryan. Actually, it's back up. That's row 7. Row 6 is actually Glenn Campbell and John Higman Jr. Jeff Ryan, Tom Dreiling. Row 7. Row 8, Mike Montesi and Randy Oka. Brian Wertman, Ron Holofield in row number 9. Row 10, Scott Simley, Jose Speedy Gonzalez, Tristan Ferris, and Josh Adams, the leading point or lap getter, I should say, for the wheel battle there in 22nd. Charles Woods, Doug Sigmund, row 12. Row 13, DJ Dwight Beverly will start next to Gerald Livingston. And Garrett Austin will start amongst the final row of racers as they roll out on the track. If we get a chance to, we will talk to Chuck Sweeting if he's in here. Usually Chuck's, I don't believe, in this channel during Discord during the race. Let me scroll through really quickly. He is not, so... If I get a chance to, we'll get a chance to talk to Chuck. Otherwise, we'll talk to a couple more drivers before pre-race next week, which, as you saw in the Monday night broadcast we did of Sim500, we're going to start to work in extended pre- and post-race shows tonight. Just working on it, basically, and we're going to get it rolling smoothly starting here very, very shortly. As pace car rolls in, it is Tommy Ryan and Chuck Sweeting leading them to the green flag at Homestead-Miami Speedway Sunday night. Xfinity Racing on the Captain Esports Network. Cameras tonight presented by Track Cams 22 as Tommy Ryan gets loose and Bob Gillenwater's going to slam the inside wall. Oh my gosh, no. One of the finalists for the championship has slammed the inside wall. Bob's keeping it down off the track to keep the caution from coming out, but Chuck Sweeting leads lap 1. Oh, that was a terrible turn for points-wise for Bob. Tommy went up to try to clear the 57, and the back end came loose. Right over that seam. and sends Bob hard into the inside wall. That's a tough break, and look who leads this race. Chuck Sweeting in this 57 car. Now, I was having some issues as Gillenwater's on pit road with the paints loading, and I thought I had them corrected, but I don't know if this is actually his paint tonight, or I still got issues maybe. Bob Gillenwater, that car's smoking. He's probably going to have a lot of damage on that thing. Tires going on it, and I'm sure he didn't want that to happen, because you do have limited sets of tires. Only 3 sets to get you through this 100-lap race. Sweeting, Coleman, Arnold, Doy Woods, and Chad Coleman, your top 5 in the battle there. Here comes Mojica inside of Coleman. This is the battle for the 5th position, as Pedro rolls that bottom and makes the pass on his teammate there from Team Name. John Higman running the Hooters number 60 tonight. There's Tommy Ryan behind him after that save. I don't see much damage on that 99. But unfortunately, the damage has been done to the 4 car, as he still sits there behind the wall. Not sure how much damage he has. Yeah, as I was starting to explain, though, with the pre-race coverage, we're going to extend that out a little bit more. We'll really kick that in next week at Phoenix and then into the following season and stuff. And in the Cup Series, obviously, we've already kind of got that started last week. We had a very extended post-race show that we're going to do every week now. Talk to drivers, have some fun. That was one of the funner times I've had in a very long time last week with John Muschin Jr. And hopefully the viewers enjoyed that also. But we'll talk to drivers, and who knows, maybe even in the future, you might see us talk to drivers that get involved in accidents. This is where I warn you that adult language could come. Single file line down the back straightaway. You see the 6 car, that is Mike Montesi, as he tries to get up underneath the 44 of Glenn Campbell. Back here, Scott Simley running a different paint scheme. In that 12, I believe that's PVG colors? Oh, Black Rifle Coffee. A little different paint scheme there for that number 12. And Simley going to slide inside of Tom Dreiling and take that position away. That is the 13th spot. Ryan Wortman started the race in the pits. However, he did make it out and is on the lead lap still. He did not fall a lap down. Meanwhile, up front, Jimmy Coleman going to the lead. We were watching that pass happen, and Jimmy made the pass on Chuck Sweeting here. Let's go back and look at this. At lap number 4, the good thing about the technology I have is I'm able to go back and show you the replay of the pass. So you don't wonder how something happened. Just a straight up pass on Coleman, or Coleman making on Sweeting. So Jimmy Coleman, one of the final drivers, is up here leading, passing Chuck Sweeting there in the 2nd position. Here comes Eric Arnold. Arnold, unfortunately, lost out on his chase run last in the 2nd round there, but looking still to take advantage of the chance to race here and get whatever points position he can get to end this season. Entering that corner very shy. Here you see the car kind of back, trying to spin out, maybe a little bit getting loose. That is more of just a car just being loose in, so just kind of going straight in to make the corner as long as possible, or as short as possible, the straightaway being as long as possible. But Eric Arnold there in the 3rd position. Pedro Mojica, he has worked his way up to 4th after the pass on Doy Woods. They work their way into turn 3. Let's look at that pass again. As you see, Doy slides up the track. And Mojica makes the pass for the position right there. So 4th position to Pedro. he slowly just starts to work those tires over. And you see the battle for second. Eric Arnold trying to get underneath that 57 car of Sweeting. The battle for second. This track very tough to pass, but with the very slick temperatures, it looks like the bottom lane is the way to go. You see Arnold just slides right under and makes the pass in that John Mustin Jr. paint. Twelve laps going to be on the boards next time by. It's a 0.3 of a second lead. Jimmy Coleman on Eric Arnold, Sweeting, Mojica, Doy Woods, Chad Coleman. And then this battle back here, David Comstock, the 13 car, looking underneath the 60 for position with Joey Jattina right there behind him. You see Gillenwater right there in the foreground, unfortunately still on pit road. So 13 laps in, as you see the pass with Comstock happen, Jattina trying to get a little bit of a run off the corner himself. Everybody pretty much staying within race length of each other. Here's the 8 car of Randy Oakham underneath Ron Holyfield in the 1. There's Charles Woods there behind him, the 01. That's Dwight Beverly, or DJ Beverly. I know him as from other leagues. You might hear me call him both names at one time tonight. One car blinking out just a little bit there. And here comes the top 5, top 6, all back together again in this group. Nobody really able to get away from one another. So 16 laps complete. You see the pass 4 position right there for third. Mojica inside of Sweeting going to take that spot away. Doy Woods going to move the 4th, it looks like. So Sweeting starting to fall back a little bit. Up here for the lead, Eric Arnold in that 31 car, looking inside of Jimmy Coleman. Got Pedro Mojica there, followed him. Doy Woods also not letting these guys go. Chad Coleman, all this, 6 cars under a blanket within a second at lap number 17. Seeing like comers and goers almost. Some people taking the lead and then kind of falling back into the clutches. As Arnold going to lead this lap. Just shows you the power of this draft. Everybody kind of spread out there. Obviously, the radius of these corners very tight. That's what leads to the long off throttle time on a track like this. You look at like a Texas, you look at a Charlotte, you look at a Kansas. You know, a lot of people think, okay, it's the same old cookie cutter racetrack. No, it's not, because they're all different straightaway lengths, different corner lengths, different bankings, and all different types of things. When you look at Kansas, for instance, did you know Kansas Speedway has the longest straightaways of any mile and a half? Some people don't know that. That's why it might drive different than a Chicagoland or a Kentucky or a Texas or a Charlotte or an Atlanta. Homestead obviously has very tight radius corners. That's why you got to see these cars slow up a ton mid-corner, and then you don't see really the fast speeds that you would see at a normal mile and a half track. That's what separates this from the others. And Eric Arnold continuing to lead here, 20 laps in. Lap 50 obviously the halfway point, giving away some bonus points at that moment. Let's check back here. John Higman Jr. under attack. Here comes Glenn Campbell. Actually spotted a trans-service vehicle this past weekend. I had never seen a trans-service vehicle. One of their, obviously, corporate products or whatever. And I just happened to go past a vehicle with the logo on there and stuff. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. There he is making the pass for the 9th position. Of course, Trans-Service is sponsor of the Truck Series on Wednesday nights. Chad Coleman, that 38 car. Second entering the championship battle. And Eric Arnold getting a little loose off turn 4 there. Here comes Pedro outside. Looks like maybe caught one of those seams in turn 1. That's one of the more overlooked part of this track, are those transition seams, because that is where the banking actually changes. And if you hit one and your wheels turn, kind of like you saw Tommy Ryan a little bit ago, and even now with Eric Arnold, it can loosen that car up. Oh, Eric getting close to Pedro. All right, good news, Bob Gillenwater fans. He is back on track. Championship hopes likely over for that 4 car, unfortunately, but he is back on track. He's going to keep fighting, and here in about 4 laps, he'll actually pass the 6 car of Montesi, and you see the damage on that number 4 car. Hopefully that engine will last, because he hit that wall pretty square with the front end. Oh, caution, we got trouble on the track. Charles Woods has gone around on the back straightaway. That is one of the drivers battling for that FEG wheel. The postman has gone around on the back straightaway, bringing out the caution for the first time. Let's see what happens. Oh, somebody got loose there. Who is? Oh, that's the Jordan brand car, the 47 of Tristan Ferris goes around. Charles Woods gets devoured. Is that Gillenwater to hit him? You see Tristan gets loose right in front of Holyfield. Charles Woods nowhere to go. I'm looking at that 4 car. Coming into the pick. Yeah, it sure is. Wow. I'm having no luck tonight. Randy Oakham gets a piece of it also. All the leaders on pit road here. And looks like Mojica going to win the race off pit road over Eric Arnold. These are all 4-tire pit stops, it looks like. Right at the 1/4 mark. So caution out for the first time. He'll give us a chance to step away for a second. And we'll get you more green flag racing as Brian Wortman stays out here. He'll likely pit here for tires and fuel as he gets a lap lead there. But we'll come back and get you more green flag racing here on the Captain Esports Network.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, here we are back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, virtually on iRacing. Caution out for the first time involving Charles Woods. Bob Gillenwater got a piece of that one also, so Bob not having a good 28 laps so far here at Homestead. As Pedro Mojica leads, Eric Arnold, Jimmy Coleman, Doy Woods, and looks like Chuck Sweeting and Chad Coleman there in the inside lane as get ready to come back to the green at lap number 28. Comes back out, lap 29. So obviously this will get them to halfway, but still going to have to make one more stop to get to the 100 lap mark in this race. Down the back straightaway, Mojica getting the lead for the first time. Arnold, Coleman, Woods, and Sweeting. As already you've seen, what, 4 or 5 different leaders in this race. And how about that 26 car of Jose Gonzalez? Started all the way back in the 20th position. He is up to 9th. Josh Adams, 32nd to 10th in that Best Buy car. As you see Adams inside of Gonzalez. Comstock kind of riding there behind him. This is all around the 8th, 9th, 10th position. See Adams and Gonzalez continue the battle there side by side, right behind the 44 of Glenn Campbell. Gonzalez almost up there against the boards, which is the traditional groove around this track, but with it being so hot today, it's like everybody has to use the bottom to keep the car from spinning out, from what people are telling me here. Blue Rider Comstock, you see him there getting loose as that battle continues. So Gonzalez using that top side to an advantage. How much can you keep this right rear on the car? That is how you are going to get to either victory lane or a chance to compete for the win in this race. You can see some cars sliding up the track. You see some cars kind of in yaw, spinning out almost. Very tricky. And look at this. For the lead. Mojica was under attack. Arnold there got to the bottom side. Unless it's Daniel Falkingham, usually you don't see many people battling. As Mojica with 1/10 right now over Arnold, who's having a great run here at Homestead. You must be a fan of these kind of older paved tracks. I mean, as I think about it, the last one we've ran of this size, I obviously got to think back to Chicagoland right before the playoffs. And if I remember correctly, Arnold did run well in that race. I have to go back and look at the numbers and that kind of thing. Speaking of running well, Joey Chattina continues. Of course, he's battling for a playoff spot in the Cup Series that you'll see tomorrow night here on the Captain Esports Network from Daytona. Again, I promise no rain in the forecast. That'll be tomorrow night. John Mushton and I in the booth for that. Should be a great broadcast if you enjoyed last week's race and Watkins Glen. Again, we invite you to join us tomorrow night for that. And if you're here from that race last week, watching for the first time, welcome into the FEG Xfinity Series. Of course, the FEG company is the Ford Entertainment Group, and they specialize in sim racing and sim flight gaming machines with over 3,500 PCs built for sim racers and sim flight pilots. All FEG PCs come with a front-to-back warranty on every part, as well as free labor. Everything is covered PC. Of course, they're giving away that CSL direct drive wheel, which unfortunately might have just affected the 40 car of Charles Woods, who was involved in that accident. I'm looking in the standings right now. Charles is off the track and in 25th, so it looks like his chances of getting that wheel have fallen by the wayside. So the leader's not really able to get away from each other here. You see Chad Coleman there. Chuck Sweeting still holding on in that 57 car, and then back here, a battle of wings and coffee. That is something I don't think I'll ever do. As Brian Wortman making an unscheduled pit stop. Not sure what's going on with the 74. Or is he? Maybe he's just staying on the apron out of the way. Look back here, Tommy Ryan, who started on the pole, and unfortunately had a rough moment there, got into Bob Gillenwater, and Bob, unfortunately, watching his championship hopes potentially go up in smoke here this evening. He's going to need some major things to happen for his championship hopes to stay alive. And not that, anybody wishes ill will on anybody, but, That's kind of what's going to have to happen. Let's check out the boss man here, running in the 6th position right now. Let's throw some telemetry on him here. And see what kind of speeds they're running around this Homestead-Miami track with, look at 130 miles an hour through the corners. I want to go back and watch like one of the 99 or 2000, 2001 races around Homestead. I want to see what kind of speeds they were running. I almost want to throw out there the chance that they could be running just about the same speeds that they were running on the flat track that they are in this oval right now, which is mind-boggling when you look at the banking on this track. But that's just the grip and lack thereof. I mean, you're driving into the corner, 170 miles an hour down to 134-ish. And you let the car just kind of ride its way up towards the fence. So the weather up here on the screen for a second. Of course, the default iRacing date is May 15th. That's why if you see the date up top there being May 15th, a majority of people who host servers, if they're in leagues, unless they do real timing of the race, will host on May 15th default-wise, and everything weather-wise is default. The number I'm looking at is the bottom right corner, down where it says 139 degrees track temperature. That is ridiculous hot at Homestead. I mean, that's the kind of hot that, like, I remember as a young kid on the east coast of Florida, I was the dummy during the summer trying to walk barefooted sometimes on roadways. Let's just say that I would purposely grab like a water hose, spray water down on the road and step on the water. Just to cool my feet off. But then I'd finally be smart enough to go put shoes on. So Chuck Swading starting to put pressure on Jatina. This is the 6th place battle. That's the one thing I am kind of shocked by, is the fact that this field has not been able to spread out. I know it's a fixed setup, and I know everybody's pretty much on equal, but everybody's got to drive this car, and this is, I think, maybe a thing to practice also. You know, everybody's getting practice. Everybody's closer time-wise. So 5 laps from the halfway point. Pedro Mojica leading exactly where he should be leading, and that is close to this halfway point. He's going to get some more bonus points potentially here in 5 laps, depending on what happens here. He's got Jimmy Coleman there in 3rd. He's got Chad Coleman. He's got Chuck Sweeting, 4 of the 6 drivers in the playoffs, right up here in the top 10. I should say now all 5 are in there. Josh Adams just popped into the top 10 himself, so the only one not in there is, unfortunately, Bob Gillenwater in that 4 car. So we got single file racing here. We got double file racing back here as Ron Holyfield under attack. Tom Dreiling trying to make a pass. There's DJ Beverly, Tommy Ryan. Tell me handling don't play a role at iRacing. Tommy was the pole sitter, had little contact to his left rear, and here he is back here struggling. 16th position right now for the pole sitter. A couple passes there for position. Let's go back up here. That is a battle for second up ahead. You're seeing there Jimmy Coleman getting the inside on Eric Arnold. Arnold tried to get up there against the boards. Coleman gets a little loose. Very easy to do off two, and he's going to get the pass. Jimmy Coleman up to second. Been very impressed with Jimmy. And he's running a very interesting groove there. That area of the track where he's at, very easily confusing because there's a transition of banking there. The left side of his car was literally on the 18 degrees. The right side's on the 19, so it actually frees the car up a little bit. So I don't know if he's feeling a tight condition maybe, or if he just kind of threw it over that part of the racetrack. But either way, got him running into second position. Meanwhile, Pedro's starting to pull away here as we come to the halfway point. Only 2 more of these bonuses left this season, and this man just keeps ripping them off. Pedro Mojica going to hit halfway and hit the 10 bonus points for leading. Coleman will get the 9. Eric Arnold, Doy Woods, Chad Coleman, Jatina, Chuck Sweeting, Glenn Campbell, Jose Gonzalez, and David Comstock, the 10 drivers. Battle on for third. Arnold's starting to fall off. You wonder if he maybe burned his tires up a little bit. And Doy Woods goes by for third. Doy all of a sudden starting to have some really good runs. Doy had a great race at Las Vegas last week, and here he is now. Up in third position. Once again, a track that maybe eats up tires could be the difference there of how he's running so well. Tommy Ryan making a pass for position here ahead of Scott Simley. Takes the 12th position, so maybe that 99 got the damage fixed and started out back and now working his way up through the field there. But for Pedro, biggest lead that anyone's had in this race. Of 1.2 seconds. Ron Holyfield dive inside of John Higman. That is the 17th position. Move the 1 up and the 60 back. I think John needs to go back to that Winn-Dixie paint scheme from back in the day. So as I'm taking a look at lap speeds, of course, we're almost 2 seconds off the pace now, running laps at about 36 seconds. Fastest car last time by was actually the guy that just took the 2nd position from Jimmy Coleman, Doy Woods. One of the rare tracks that Davey Allison did not get the chance to race at. This track was maybe just getting started being built when he tragically passed away in that helicopter crash. Doy up to the 2nd position as he got past Jimmy Coleman. Let's see the pass right there, bottom side. Takes that Haviland number 28 up to P2. In the race, Tom Dreiling making a pass inside Scott Simley. That is a pass for the 13th spot. We're going to step away for a quick second. We'll come back and get you to the finish of this race here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series from Sim500 and the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, 41 laps to go. And we have got ourselves a fight here for the 4th, 5th, and 6th position. Make that 4th and 5th and 6th. Chuck Sweeting, Jatina, and Arnold, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I should say. I'll get these numbers right eventually. Just work with me. This is all 4 seconds back from leader Pedro Mojica. I overheard Joey jump on the microphone a second ago and said, hey, let's go get these guys. So he and Sweeting kind of tag teaming him here. Of course, next week, next Sunday, we crown a champion at the Phoenix Raceway. Final race of the season as we got pit stops starting up. Jose Gonzalez will be on pit road. We'll go live at 8:45, and we'll talk to the drivers, some of the drivers in the top 6, and who knows, if Pedro's able to clinch this thing tonight, we might be talking to him ahead of time as the champion. But either way, should be a fun race. I know Phoenix earlier this season was a very fun race to watch here as Gonzalez is in 4 tires and fuel. They can use the regular lane there off the banking into turn 4 into pit road, but coming off into turn 1, they have to use the access road all the way around onto the back straightaway. So there's the next on the hit list, apparently, of Chuck Sweeting and Joey Jatina, and that is Chad Coleman, the 38 car there, 3 seconds back from leader Pedro Mojica. I've been watching Doy Woods. He is slowly bringing in the leader. And I think that's the 31 pulling off. It is Eric Arnold to pit road. Lap number 61, 38 laps to go. Of course, these guys run 100% fuel. So there's no like fuel shortage and stuff like that you see in other leagues that we broadcast. It is 100% fuel. They have 3 sets of tires to work with. Of course, he used the first set at the caution. This will be the second set as Arnold slides are in there. More tires and fuel for these guys trying to short pit, and they're going to look like cup cars out here running so fast. It's over with. David Comstock to pit road in the 13 car. David having a solid run in the top 10 most of this race. David will likely be in that cup race tomorrow night at Daytona. Virtually here on iRacing and on the Captain Esports Network. We'll take the trip up the Florida Turnpike / US 1 as I-95 actually ends in downtown Miami. And then we'll get on 95 in Miami, take it all the way up. See if I can remember the exit number. Exit 261, if it's still that number in Florida. That is the exit to Speedway Boulevard or to I-4 / US 92 into the Daytona International Speedway tomorrow night. We'll go live a little early, talk to drivers who might or might not have a chance to clinch a spot in the playoffs, and we'll also kind of give you a preview of what could happen at Daytona, which, if it's like today, oh boy. The good news is things will not be falling from the sky on iRacing yet. Chad Coleman on pit road. With 35 laps to go, here comes the Georgia native. Right side's going on, left side tires also. Oh, Jatina got loose back there. I don't know if you saw that in the background. He got loose right in front of Comstock there. Great save on his part. Glenn Campbell now on pit road. As pit stops start up, Randy Oakham in the 8 car. And also the 23 of Tom Dreiling, it looks like. Leader's still out there. There's Pedro, and there's Doy Woods stalking him. Here comes those fresh tires of Eric Arnold. Going to feel like Superman here in a second. As Jatina on pit road, Ron Holyfield is in. Livingston, John Higman Jr. all on pit road. More tires and fuel, and he pulls away as there's the 9 car on pit road. Or the 60 car. I think 9 car, Hooters car, obviously Chase Elliott. Here we go, second place on pit road. Doy Woods bringing the Haviland Ford in, and I'm sure you're going to see Pedro Mojica probably coming in next time by, going to try to prevent the undercut. Sweeting is in. And Tommy Ryan, the pole sitter, is in. Look in the background to see if we see a black 58 pull down right there. As Mojica pulls in. 15.5 for Doy. Not a good stop at all. Jimmy Coleman, Pedro Mojica is in the pits. Let me get you a better view of this. Here we go. 4 tires fuel in a 14.8. So 7/10 already an advantage for Mojica just on the stop alone. Let's see. There's Doy coming into turn 1 right now. Will the 1 lap make a difference? You see Chad Coleman going by. That is actually for position. Here comes Doy Woods, though. I think he's going to hold him off. Boy, how much Doy wants those 7/10 back? I know it sounds crazy, but when you look at the lead, look at the side over there, it's 0.3 of a second to the lead, or to this position. All right, so last one to pit, Josh Adams, it looks like in his 56. When will we see him come to pit road, and then when he does pit, he'll hand the lead over to Eric Arnold, who was the first one to pit. And, of course, Garrett Austin there at 34. He's going to pit, I think, this time by. These two trying to maybe try a pit strategy, so to say, of getting a caution. Not sure how much longer Josh can go unless I throw up the old pit board. And there you see Josh last pitted 46 laps ago. So he should be on pit road in the next couple laps here. But he's at a point right now, he's got to run this whole entire stint. He cannot short pit this thing. Gerald Livingston unlapping himself from the 56. So this is how it rolls right now. Eric Arnold second, Jose Gonzalez, David Comstock, Chad Coleman, and then Pedro Mojica back here. About 18 seconds back, but he's about 3/4 of a second back from Chad Coleman, and then Doy Woods there behind him. So this is where all this pit strategy and who can save their tires enough to make it good on a long run could play into this race as Eric Arnold obviously has jumped to the front. However, when we look at lap times right now, Eric Arnold at 35.02, Jose Gonzalez 35.04. You go down to these others who pitted a little later. Coleman 62, 34.25 for Pedro, 51 for Doy. So these guys obviously running a lot faster than those cars that came to pit road a few laps earlier in this run. There's Gonzalez, there's Comstock, and there's the 38 of Coleman as they go by Brian Wortman to put him a lap down. Coleman going to slide underneath the 13 here. You see Mojica right behind him. And those fresher tires just slowly working their way through the field here. Now, one thing this could hurt Adams in is that run for the wheel. The longer he stays on track, the more time he loses. The chances he goes a lap down, and if he goes a lap down, look right there at that 38 car. That is second in that battle for the FEG wheel. We could have ourselves all of a sudden a one-lap battle on our hands going to Phoenix. So this Josh Adams staying out is playing major implications. What is major? What? So Gonzalez free falling back with Comstock. Here comes Doy Woods. And one of the harder, more overrated things to do at this track, save your tires when you have the fresher tires trying to roll through the field here. Because if you're Doy, it's easily tempting as he's got to go 3 wide up the middle. Very easy to burn your tires off trying to get back up to the 58. The only car left for Pedro to catch is that guy right there. 31 of Eric Arnold. This is all 4 or 5 seconds back from Arnold or from Adams. Only the one caution so far in this race, and that was the 47 car of Tristan Ferris, who went around on the back straightaway. Charles Woods got a piece of that, and also Bob Gillenwater, who is a championship 6 driver. But Gillenwater was involved in something on lap 1 that put him way behind, unfortunately. And there it is for the second position. Mojica topside going around the 31. As Sweeting tries to make passes inside the 26 for a spot. Chad Coleman, Doy Woods. This is a battle for the 4th spot. This is about 2 seconds behind Pedro Mojica now. And there is the leader. Adams trying all he can to get a caution right now. Probably throwing every Best Buy device you can think of out there. That'd be some pretty expensive things. So Mojica goes by. Arnold's going to try to get him here for second, I think, very shortly. Now, if he's able to get a yellow, it might not be a winning move, but it will be a track position move, basically, for him. He'll be able to come down, get tires under caution, along with those cars right there, because they'll have another set of tires still to use. But he'll be able to jump up there and be in the top 5 instead of back where he was throughout this race. As Sweeting going to make the pass here on Comstock for position. And you see how much the 57 rolling back to the throttle. Sweeting going by Adams for position. Comstock's going to go by. And up here, Doy Woods has gone around Eric Arnold for second. So the question now, did Doy burn up his stuff trying to get through these cars? As Mojica's pulled away to a 2.4 second lead now. Remember, they came out of the pits together. 1 lap difference on tires. That was it. All right, Adams has come to pit road in a 56. Going to be 4 tires and fuel. And we'll have to see where he comes out, because he is likely going to lose a lap here. Now, he, in fairness, will have fresh tires to return. So he might be able to grab this lap back. If he can catch Pedro quick enough in 15 laps. The Tap Out Tuning 58 looking like it is on his way to victory lane again. And potentially 1 step closer to becoming a champion at Sim 500. As we see Tommy Ryan and Glenn Campbell battle it out here. Back here at the 10th position. Tommy rebounding after his whoopsies on lap 1. And Tommy going to clear for position. Meanwhile, back here, 3-car battle starting to shape up. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Eric Arnold. Can he hold off Chad Coleman and Chuck Sweeting? There goes the leader going by. There's Doy Woods. And then these 3 here, 2nd or 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Comstock trying to throw the fishing reel out there and try to get a bite. And catch these 3 for 3rd. And Sweeting gets to run to the bottom side. Coleman slid up a little bit. And there he goes on by. Move Chuck Sweeting up to the 4th position. What a run for this 57. As I've said all season, it's like he has been right on the border. From the start of the season up until this point, he has been like on the edge of making it into the playoffs. And then he was on the edge of the round of 16 or round of 18. Then he was on the edge of the round of 12. And now here he is in the final 6. Almost the underdog of this series, trying to win this championship. Coleman now is going to try to slide around the Arnold. He just gets to run off the corner. Here comes Adams with the fresh tires. tires have you feeling like Superman out there. The Woods has been on knockoff about a 10th or so, and it's been about it time-wise. Otherwise, maybe too little too late here, and I think what everybody was kind of fearing happening is 9 laps from happening. I don't think it's going to be enough for him to clinch the championship tonight, potentially. It just comes down to the turnout, basically, of what we get next week at Phoenix. If, say, like only 20 cars show up, which we haven't had less than, what, 25 to 30 in that range all season long. So if we end up with less than 20, then yeah, Pedro will win the championship tonight. But obviously, you will not be able to tell that until next Sunday. There he is, 2.6 seconds up on Doy Woods, 8 laps to go. Again, tomorrow night, we invite you to join us from Daytona, the North Carolina 811 Cup Series. Their final round before they start the playoffs. 8:45 will come on the air from the World Center of iRacing, if you will. 99% of these guys will be up there racing tomorrow night. And if you remember the Super Speedway race these guys had at Talladega a few weeks ago, who knows what can happen tomorrow night in Daytona. Lead down to 2.4. There's Pedro and there's Doy, and that lap car might have had a thing to do with that time loss. Now notice the car that just passed Pedro Mojica. Josh Adams just unlapped himself. So now he is back to being 2 laps ahead of Chad Coleman in the battle for the wheel. How close that came to almost being a single lap battle. Oh, by the way, that lead is down to 2 seconds. So Woods, I don't know if he's found something or if Pedro's kind of letting up a little bit here or if he's burned his tires off. All of a sudden, Doy is making moves here. I think it might be too little too late, even though he's about 0.2 faster. Let me do the math in my head here. 5 times 0.2, that's about a second. So he would fall about 0.8 short. That time by a 22 to an 08. So again, Doy about a 1/10 and a half faster that time by. Pedro's got pretty clear track. Couple lap cars up ahead. Not sure if they'll get in the way or not. To go. There's that battle, and there's this battle starting to shape up right here for the 5th position with Eric Arnold. David Comstock. We'll keep an eye if that gets any closer. Looks like there's a chance that happens. Doy Woods trying to track down at 58. Miles to go. You know, I know I've kind of beat this horse into the ground a little bit, but at the beginning of the season, it was all Daniel Falkingham. He was winning everything. And then finally came the middle part of the season. And we showed up, as we hit the white flag, final lap this time by, we showed up to Nashville in May. And from that point on, it slowly became the Pedro Mojica show. And he just continues to win and continues to win. Take away Talladega, take away New Hampshire, and take away Daytona. He is top 5 almost every race back to that Nashville point. And now he's going to be one race away from being crowned a champion potentially in the FEG Xfinity Series. Homestead, check. Pedro Mojica. Doy Woods comes back to get second. Chuck Sweeting third. Chad Coleman, Eric Arnold. Ends up your top 5. One caution in this race. Seventh win of the season for the 58. And as I mentioned, all of them from May on. That's just incredible to even somebody just pile drive the barrels at the end of the track. That's not good. Somebody get that man a copter. As Pedro lights him up. He's getting used to doing this one. Heck, after I won the C Open race earlier this week, I might need him to show me how to do some of these burnouts. Yeah, he's pretty good at those, I'd say. We take a look at the race results. Mojica wins it by 1 second over Doy Woods. Chuck Sweeting third. Coleman and Eric Arnold your top 5. So 3 of the top 5 all playoff drivers. And it's going to be a real tight battle going to Phoenix next week for that second place battle. It looks like Arnold 5th. Comstock. Coleman fades back to 7th. Joey Jatina 8th. Tommy Ryan. Great comeback for him. Jose Gonzalez 10th. Glenn Campbell 11th. Tom Dreiling 12th. Ron Holyfield 13th. Gerald Livingston. DJ Beverly, Josh Adams, how about that? Comes back and finishes on the lead lap after potentially hurting himself strategy-wise. So it'll be a 2-lap separation going to Phoenix next week. Scott Simley, 17th. John Higman Jr. finishing in the 18th position. 19th going to Garrett Austin. 20th to Doug Sigmund. Brian Wortman, 21st. Bob Gillenwater. Oh, this one hurts. Unfortunately, probably out of the running for the championship next week. Finishing 22nd, Randy Yoakum, Jeff Ryan, Tristan Ferris, Charles Woods, and Mike Montesi finishing in the 27th position here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. As we're going to round up some drivers and talk to some of them here this evening as we slowly work our way back towards the end of this championship run. Let's start with our third place finisher tonight. Chuck Sweeting finishes there. Chuck, a great run this evening for you, finishing third. Obviously, I've been calling you the underdog, so to say, throughout the season because you've been right on the border. It seems like every round, even in the regular season, just kind of hanging there. And here you are, the championship. Going to be a tough battle, an uphill one, but obviously a step closer to maybe runner-up in this series.
Yeah, that's probably realistic. Congrats to Pedro. He's just so fast week in and week out. I kind of figured it out after that last pit stop there, and I think I was a little faster than him, although I'm not sure how hard he was running. But yeah, come home with third. That's a pretty good night. Qualified second, finished third. Can't complain.
Yeah, the racing out there was pretty wild. I know you and Joey got kind of teamed up a little bit there and started passing your way through the field. Obviously showing the long run speed the 57 had, but how tricky was this track tonight?
It was tricky. It was a lot of fun, though. You were pretty much sliding all the way through the turns, and it kept you on your toes. You had to pay real close attention, not give it too much throttle, not give it too much wheel. I'm surprised we didn't have a lot more cautions, but everybody did such an awesome job tonight. Such a good, clean race, and just a testament to how good these drivers are in this league.
And about getting yourself a potential win in your home track or in least home state. Congratulations on that, and shout out to whoever you like to, man.
I just want to thank Joey and all the admins for all the hard work they do, and just everybody at the league that helps the league, all the sponsors and what have you. It's a pleasure to come run with them. It's good racing, and I really appreciate everything they do and appreciate them having me.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate what you do. Great racing. Good watching you out there, and we'll see you next week in Phoenix, my friend.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Hey, you too. You too. As Chuck Sweeting finishing in the third position this evening and finishing runner-up for a second straight week, a top 3 at least for this number 28. There's something about these tracks and use time and no grip or whatever that just kind of maybe wakes up Doy Woods. I mean, last week at Vegas, not as old of a surface, but still one that was eating up tires. And then tonight, man, I don't know if there was anybody faster than you on a long run.
Yeah, I tell you, the guys at the shop set up the car really good on old tires. I might have should have pumped up the tires there that last pit stop to get a little bit more speed at the beginning, but yeah, man, the car was really smooth. I could go anywhere I want to on the track, and maybe saved a little bit too much there, but if you were near close to Pedro at the end, you're doing something. So I'm happy with it. It feels good to have back-to-back good finishes. And talking to you.
Absolutely, and I got to ask the obvious question here. Your pit stop was about 0.7 slower than Pedro, and obviously when you watch Pedro come off pit road, I mean, you're right on his bumper as he leaves pit road. So you wonder maybe those 0.7 did it really matter at all, or was it one of those that, hey, darned if you did, maybe I could get those and get up there?
Yeah, I'm kind of like Uncle Grandpa a little bit there on that last pit stop. I didn't want to get a penalty, and I went down pit road not at 50 miles an hour. I just was trying to guess on. I put a little bit less of fuel. I probably should have filled it up because it changed the characteristics of the car a little bit, and I had to adjust my line and everything, my brake response and all that, and woulda, coulda, shoulda, but like I say, man, I got a second place finish, and third last week, second this week, hey, you know what comes next, and Phoenix is by far my best track, so they boys better look out.
Oh, he calling his shots. I like it. And let me think about this. I believe Davey does have a Phoenix win, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them.
There you go. So, yeah. Somehow I remember this. But, yeah, great job tonight. And that 28 car, it's always, like I said, man, it's one of my favorite schemes I always see on the track. It's one that, unfortunately, we lost way too short in life. But great job out there, and shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, all the guys on TeamSpeak, Chad, Pedro, David, all the guys that's on TeamSpeak, we do a great job of communicating and figure things out. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for them boys. I mean, they definitely some teamwork going on, and that's what you got to have. And I'm just really thankful that I can represent the group and get a good finish. And yeah, it's awesome to see that Texaco Haviland running up front like it needs to be. So hopefully I'll get in the winner's circle next week.
That sounds good, man. Well, hey, best of luck, and we'll see you next week. Doy Woods finishing in the second position. Who wants to be the one that breaks the news that we're in Discord, not on TeamSpeak? Anybody? Just kind of throwing it out there. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, man. He was having fun. Good run for him. Proud of him. Happy for him. That's definitely real cool. But yeah. Anywho. All right, let's go talk to the leader, winner, and the guy that's just absolutely dominating the field right now, Pedro Mojica. Pedro, you're a little more than, actually about 140 laps away from being crowned this championship. But tonight, another dominant run for you. Didn't look easy, obviously, out there on that track tonight. But, man, you definitely put another race together and getting yourself another win.
Yeah, Chris, it was a hard night. I'll tell you that. So I'm proud of the effort to be able to win this one. Yeah, man. I mean, that was, like I said, every week. Anytime I got interviewed, it's, we just go out and try to win every race we can, and that'll take care of the points, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think again tonight we were able to maximize points, lead the most laps, win halfway stage points, and win the race. So, can't ask for anything better to go into the last race of the season, honestly. Phoenix can be, I mean, it could be a pretty calm race, or it could be pretty hectic, and you can get swept up in wrecks. So, I mean, it's good to have two wins in a row to cushion that points lead going into the finale.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, the race was it was hard, like you said. I mean, honestly, we were probably the best car for the first half of the run, and then Doy Woods was the best car the last half of the run. He was really, really good. I was pretty lucky that we didn't have another 2 or 5 laps left in the race.
I was wondering, was it like, all right, is he backing off knowing he's got this, or is this him running out of tires, or what the deal was? But that just kind of answered my question right there. But um, going back to Phoenix this season, we were there obviously earlier in the year, and as you know, at that point it was the Falkingham time as he was dominating that part of the season. We remember how that race ended. Is there any kind of fear, any kind of worry that something like that could happen on your end?
I think in that situation, he was battling hard for the lead with Josh, if I remember correctly,
Yep, you're right.
and it went wrong for him. So I think in a situation like that, I mean, I don't have anything really to gain, right? So I think I'd be a little bit more careful um, in a situation. It's also depending on who it is, right? Racing for the lead, but yeah, I mean, you got to worry about stuff like that. Biggest thing for myself is I need to make sure I qualify. Um, the spring race, I spun out during my qualifying lap and got the penalty, the black
Ah,
flag for sliding my tires. So it ended up relegating me to start pretty much dead last, and I was 38th and had to work my way up. And so that was hard. The finish is not indicative of the pace we had for
right.
sure. I think we had a top 3 pace in that race. It just between starting so far back and the yellows that started ensuing in the middle portion to end of the race, it came down to restarts and being in the right lane and stuff. But I mean, even in that case, if I could finish 7th, I think that'll clinch. That'll give us a championship. So yeah. So I mean, going in there with the same mentality, right? Just
Absolutely.
try to go in for a win and try to, but also don't put myself in a situation that I can caught up in a wreck.
Yeah, you mentioned you finished 7th in that race. That's pretty impressive still to gain 31 spots in that race. But something I was looking at as you were doing your burnouts, I was looking at your numbers because I'd mentioned that outside of New Hampshire and Talladega, pretty much you have won all the playoff races, if I see this correctly. But the more impressive part as I was scrolling through all of this is you have literally 5 of these races so far. Now, 1 race left. 5 races out of 24 that you did not finish in the top 10.
Yeah, no, that's pretty remarkable. I would say we've been pretty fortunate. Really the super speedways have been a struggle for whatever reason with this car. I seem to always get swept up in somebody else's wrecks or incidents, so it's been tough. New Hampshire was a mistake on the last lap. Honestly, I was paying attention to the battle up front and wasn't paying attention where I was at on the track and ran into the wall glitch. So really, I should have finished
The
fourth in
wall
that
grab.
race. Yeah, so I should have finished fourth in that race. But I mean, yeah, I mean we've had a remarkable season. Um, I can't. I'm pretty proud of the effort for sure. Even with the likes of Daniel being in the series, he's really good, and to be able to be up there every week with him and yeah, he won a lot of races, but to give him a hard time at least, it lets me know I still got it in the tank at least. I don't race as much as I used to when I was younger, when I was running all the time and running the Coke series and all that. But yeah, it's good to see the stats for sure, because it makes you think like, okay, I still have that, you know that talent and the capability to go out and compete with these guys.
Something tells me that Jimmy and Joey right now are actually putting together next season being all super speedway races.
Yeah, if they did that with the B car, yeah, I'd probably wreck every race. So, I mean, and it's funny, Chris, because going back to the Super Speedway League, the Super Speedway Series last winter, every B car race I was caught up in a wreck. So, I don't know what it is with the Xfinity car and Super Speedways other than Atlanta. But I always seem to be a magnet to a wreck. So,
It's true.
hopefully we could turn that around eventually. But anyways, yeah, no, it's yeah, hopefully Joey and Jimmy do not do that.
Well, it's kind of laughable as I see this. I mean, yeah, 20th at Dega this past race, 28th Daytona, 28th Talladega, 34th Daytona. It's like, what? Yeah, either way, man. Hey, great job. Shout out to Overlake too, bud.
And I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like shout out, tap out tuning, V Performance Academy, and Michael Sharp Racing. Appreciate them, and they're all the sponsors on the car. Appreciate them for everything they do. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be in the series. So thank you to them. Trey Etzen for painting the car. He does a great job painting. Ford Entertainment Group for sponsoring the series and the prize. It was kind of interesting coming down there at the end with Josh's strategy. He almost lost the lap. So that was tight, but that's still tight going into the last race. So that'll be fun to watch in the last race. So make sure you guys tune in. Joey and Jimmy and all the admins at Sim500, appreciate them for what they do. And appreciate you, Chris, and Captain Esports Network for broadcasting these races. Like I said, if you could broadcast every series and I run in them, I probably have a lot of good luck. So, sounds like that's going on. So I may have to consider Mondays again.
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of how's that work for Monday? You know?
Yeah. So I might have to consider Mondays now. So we'll see. And then everybody on Team Name that was here tonight, Chad, David Comstock, Doy Woods, had a lot of fun racing them. Doy was really good, man. He probably had the best car. He should have honestly won the race, but we were able to get enough of a gap there on that last run to hold him off. But no, a good race to him and the guys on Team Name.
Absolutely. Great job, man.
I appreciate it.
You too. Pedro Mojica finishing in victory lane again. 7th time of the season. And, of course, as he continues to dominate his way to a championship potentially next week at the Phoenix Raceway. So, all right. Let's talk to some more drivers, shall we? Let's grab a playoff driver. Let's grab Jimmy Coleman here. Jimmy, of course, finishing in the 7th position. Not indicative of the run you had, my friend. You went up there, led some laps, ran top 5. What was the difference? Did the car just kind of fall off? Was it track position, pit stops? What hurt you?
To the end of that first run, I started losing a little time. I was getting really loose. And I wish I'd have pitted probably about 4 or 5 laps earlier. I think I would have actually probably got about 3rd or 4th if I had. And I was trying to make it just a little longer and lost a little time, got loose, and really that was the difference. Once I come back out, I pitted the same lap as Pedro and stayed about the same distance. Never could catch him though. So, but it is what it is, and I'm getting there slowly but surely. A little bit too late for this series, but just keep making progress, man. That's all we can do.
Obviously, as we get into Phoenix next week, it looks like it's a 3-horse race for the 2nd position. And when I say 3 horses, I mean you 3 are on top of each other, Chad and you and Chuck. That's going to make some pretty intense racing next week.
Yeah, it is, and that's really try to shoot today to get some bonus points. I mean, that's kind of, it matters even just to get second. Get every point you can right now matters. So it's going to be a good race. I'm going to give it all I got. I've come this far. I'm going to at least try to get second. I know Pedro's got a pretty good lead. It's going to be hard to beat him, but regardless, I'm going to give it all I got.
There you go, man. Well, a great run tonight, finishing in the 7th position. I know you're going to be in that tight battle next week. We'll be watching, and more importantly, an even tighter battle tomorrow night at Daytona. So, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
I appreciate it, man. Just want to give a shout out to all the guys, in the league in this series. I mean, that was an awesome race. I say it looked the same. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Thanks to Peter Towing coming on board, everybody, all the admins, and FEG for being on board, and you in the broadcast, and hope everybody enjoys the show.
Absolutely. You too, buddy. Be safe, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
You too. Jimmy Coleman finishing in the 7th position. Shall we get the other Coleman to come and join us up here, and that would be Chad finishing in the 4th position this evening. Great run for you, top 5 car pretty much all night. What was it that you were lacking there to get to the front?
Drive off. I was spinning the tires.
Pretty simple way of putting it. So the racing though out there, I mean, you were hanging on up there. You were battling with Chuck Sweeting there towards the end. Eric Arnold, you guys, some great racing out there.
Yeah, it was fun. Setup was challenging. It was a little snug getting in, and then it'd still be like a little tight in the middle, and then coming off it was really, really, really loose. On the mainly on the left rear, like the right rear, my right side tire stayed fairly even, but it was just killing the left rear. It didn't seem to matter how easy I rolled back into the gas or where I got back in the gas at. It was like it would just drag the left rear across the corner on entry and then spin it up off.
That's kind of what I was just picturing as you were saying that. I'm like, so it must have been sliding the left rear, causing it probably to get too hot and causing it to wear and getting it loose and that kind of thing. Well, that's got to be interesting. Is that a brake bias thing potentially you could fix, or is there really nothing you could do back up corners maybe?
I ran about the same brake bias as, me, Doy, and Pedro ran pretty much the same brake bias. Maybe a half of a percent more or less either way. But I don't know. Like I was letting off going into the corners earlier than Doy. I think me and Pedro were lifting about the same time. We're in fairly close to the same line here, and I don't know. It would just start spinning the tire real late. Like Pedro said, his was doing it too. He had clean air, but so it helped him a little bit. But I don't know. That was my problem though. I was spinning the rear tires.
Yeah. Well, still good 4th place finish, and I know just talking to Jimmy about this, you and Chuck and Jimmy are going to be on top of another points wise. It looks like going next week.
Yeah. Pedro's pretty much gone due to the halfway points and the bonus for winning. The championship deal is pretty much over, but yeah, we'll have a pretty good race for second.
Well, great job tonight, man. Shout outs if you'd like.
Just thank you for broadcasting, Joey and Jimmy and everybody for the leagues here at Sim500, and thank Trey Odson for painting this car about almost 2 years ago now.
There you go. Well, great job tonight, man.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Chad Coleman finishing in the 4th position tonight. So it looks like everybody's pretty much taken off for the night. So, all right. I think we're going to wrap it up here and go get you ready for the Daytona race tomorrow night at 8:45. We'll probably start the stream at about 8:30-ish, 8:40-ish. And then John and I will come on live. We'll talk to some drivers, a little extended pre-race shows we're starting to do, extended post-race, and so much more as we get you into playoff mode tomorrow night from the Virtual Daytona International Speedway on iRacing. Of course, thanks to North Carolina 811 for sponsoring that series. Looking forward to that. Didn't even get a chance to do a recap of all the series, so why don't we do that really quickly right now? As I jump over here to the website, you can get all the information, by the way, sim500.com. That's how I always go and look. Of course, last week's 811 Cup Series race was at Watkins Glen, and it was absolutely dominated by Daniel Falkingham, who won his race there. 50 laps of racing there in the next-gen car. Pretty fun race, as a matter of fact, as I think back to it last week. That was definitely a lot of fun. Congratulations to Daniel winning at the Glen in our first broadcast there. And then Tuesday night, Super Speedway Series on VRN. Bobby Wetzel winning at Daytona in the, I think that's the Xfinity car that was last week. And, of course, there'll be a Talladega coming up Tuesday night in the 87, it appears. And then Wednesday night, that Trans Service Truck Series I made comments of earlier on Ghostfire Media. They were at Daytona, and Justin Fuller went to victory lane in that 86-lap race. Congratulations to him as they start their playoffs at the place called Pocono coming up on Wednesday night. Of course, you think of the song Kokomo, you'll get that reference. Friday night Midnight Thunder Series, which is also a truck series on VRN. They run at 11 o'clock at night on Friday nights. Brian Macklin getting a win in Iowa. They will be off until September 9th when they go to Daytona for 60 laps, 150 miles of racing there. And that brings us back to Sunday. So there you go, your quick update there. So, all right, we'll see you tomorrow night in Daytona. And always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. Oh, by the way, Labor Day's next week. That should be an interesting one, right? See you.